look at this. It's rich.
Let me see. Could be fool's gold.
It's real. I can feel it. Then let's move.
They called it the Northern Hotel. It was meant to be a place of luxury and comfort for those who had made their fortune in the frozen north. But the land it was built on already had a dark history. Over the years, the hotel changed hands and was eventually renamed the Alaskan Hotel. It became a popular stop for travelers, gamblers, and those chasing one last dream. But as the decades passed, guests began reporting strange things. A woman named Alice is said to be the most well-known spirit. Many believe she was murdered in one of the rooms. Guests have reported seeing a woman in old-fashioned clothing standing at the end of their beds, only to vanish when they turn on the lights. Others have heard a woman crying in empty hallways, or felt cold hands touch them while they slept. Room 315 is especially active. People have reported waking up to find their belongings moved, or hearing whispers when no one else is in the room. Some have even claimed to see a woman in a white dress walking through the halls before disappearing into the walls. The hauntings aren't limited to Alice. Shadow figures have been seen on the upper floors. Disembodied voices call out names in the middle of the night, and many employees refuse to work certain shifts alone. The Alaskan Hotel has stood for over 100 years, and according to those who have stayed there, some of its past guests never truly left. Deep in the Alaskan wilderness, hidden inside what is now Wrangell St. Elias National Park, sits one of the most hauntingly preserved ghost towns in America. Kennecott Mines was once one of the richest copper mines in the world. Between 1911 and 1938, it pulled hundreds of millions of dollars worth of copper out of the mountains. At its peak, the town had a hospital, school, stores, and hundreds of workers living in the shadow of the massive Red Mill building that still stands today. Then, almost overnight, it was abandoned. When the copper ran out in 1938, the company simply left. People walked away from their homes, their jobs, and their lives. The town was left frozen in time, tools still sitting on workbenches, furniture still inside houses, and the giant Red Mill building looming over everything like a monument to something that refused to die. For decades, Kennecott sat empty, but according to those who have explored the ruins, it was never truly empty. People who have spent time in the abandoned buildings report seeing dark figures moving past windows in buildings that have been vacant for over 80 years. Some claim to have heard voices and footsteps inside the old hospital and bunkhouses, even when they were the only living person for miles. Others describe an overwhelming feeling of being watched, especially inside the massive Red Mill, as if the workers who died there are still on shift. There are stories of miners who died in accidents deep underground, and of others who simply disappeared into the harsh Alaskan wilderness. Some believe their spirits never made it out of Kennecott. Even today, the town remains one of the most well-preserved abandoned places in the United States. The buildings still stand, the Red Mill still towers over the valley, and according to those who have walked its empty streets, some of the people who once lived and worked there never truly left. 1898, during the height of the Klondike Gold Rush, a building rose in the muddy streets of Skagway. It was called the Red Onion Saloon, but the real business happened upstairs. This was one of the most expensive houses of pleasure in Alaska. Wealthy miners paid a small fortune just for a few hours with the women who worked the upper floors. The madam ran a strict house. The girls were told to smile, to entertain, and to never complain. But not every story ended with a smile. One of the most well-known around spirits is believed to be a woman named Lydia. According to local legend, she was a young woman who worked in the upper rooms. Some say she was murdered by a jealous client. Others claim she took her own life after being trapped in a life she'd no longer escape. Whatever the truth, her presence never left the building. Guests and staff have reported seeing a woman in period clothing standing at the top of the stairs, staring down at them. She vanishes when approached. Cold spots appear in the old bedrooms. Soft laughter can be heard when no one is in the room. Some visitors claim they feel a hand gently touch their shoulder, only to turn around and find themselves alone. Employees have reported objects moving on their own, doors that open and close without reason, the sound of high heels walking across the empty upper floor late at night, and more than once, people have claimed to see the reflection of a woman in a window when no one else is there. The Red Onion Saloon still stands today. Tourists walk through its halls